Welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Ivan Toney is excited about the prospect of signing for Arsenal in January. He's told his agent that is the move he would love to make come 2024. We are also going to be talking about Arsenal opening talks with the agent of Victor Osimhen calendar ahead of a move in 2024, which could happen in the summer. He's just signing a new deal at Napoli, but that deal really doesn't make any sense. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. In the comment box below, it is a war between the two. We have to choose. Is it Ivan Toney? Is it Victor Osimhen? Let's go in the comment box below. And before we get into it, I'm going to make my choice right now. I would rather sign Ivan Toney over Victor Osimhen. I'll give you my reasons later on in the video, but I just think it would be a better deal, especially if Ivan Toney comes in January and does very well. But I want your thoughts there. I want your opinions. Let's see. Is it Osimhen for you? Is it Ivan Toney for you, right? Let's get to the video now. So according to The Sun, Ivan Toney is well aware of the interest that Arsenal have in him, and he's actually very, very interested in signing for us, in January. So this actually goes back in time. I think it was around September, October. He was interviewed by the Diary of a CEO, and he was asked about the club he would love to go to after Brentford, right? And he said, come January, the next transfer window that happens, I want a proper project. I want something that is actually good. I grew up as a Liverpool supporter, but I really like Arsenal, and I've always liked them. I like the way they play the football, and I like the process. I like the structure as well. So Arsenal is not a new topic to Ivan Toney, and I think Arsenal fans as well, we are not something a new introduction to Toney. Of course, we have had our own war between Toney and Arsenal. You remember when they beat us at the beginning of I think was it last campaign but one, when they were just promoted to the Premier League, and he said it was a nice kick about by the boys. Mikel Arteta retaliated as well by beating Brentford and using that tweet to actually tell the boys that we cannot be giving Brentford a nice kick about, right? So it was it's a long history. But Ivan Toney is a quality player. He has been a quality player. Lots of goals for Brentford in the Championship, and he scored a couple of goals for them as well in the Premier League. So if Arsenal want a striker and Ivan Toney is available and Brentford are willing to sell and the players willing to join us, that seems like a match made in heaven. That is the easiest piece of commission you would have to make as an agent or even as a matchmaker. It's a match made in heaven. Toney wants Arsenal. Arsenal want Toney. Brentford have a good relationship with Arsenal ever since selling to us Raya. I think it's gonna be easier for us to go to Brentford and pick whichever player we want. It's gonna be as easy as that. So the fact that Toney wants Arsenal makes a lot of sense. One, you've been at Brentford and you would want to make a switch, right? After that campaign, after those numbers, they're still legitimate, by the way. After those goals he scored for them last campaign, he would think this is the time for me to go and get a bigger move. Why? Because if he stays at Brentford for another year and probably doesn't score the same numbers, then his market value goes down. Then clubs would actually lose interest. So he wants to use this opportunity, and I know the agent is also trying to work in hand with him, try to understand and explore the market and options they have. But Arsenal is a good option, a very good option for Ivan Toney at the moment. So this would be an easy deal for us to do. And I've always said to you guys, whenever I've reported about the January transfer window, it's about three things. One, deals you can do, deals that are affordable, and deals that can take less time. So the player must be interested, the seller must be interested, and you as the club must be willing to meet the terms and conditions. You don't have a lot of time to deal with in January. It's all about, can I get the player, right? You look at the Joao Felix deal. If Arsenal really had the money, we would have signed Felix in January. You look at the Mikhailo Modric deal. If we had the money, if we were willing to stretch a little bit, we would have signed, Mikhailo Modric. So that is January. It's about quick. It's about being very, very agile. And I think in this deal, agility is also going to be very key because Chelsea are really, really interested. But what is actually very interesting as we talk about strikers is that Arsenal have also opened talks with the agent of Napoli star Victor Osimhen. The agent is called Calendar, and there is a possibility that we want to talk to him about a deal in the summer. Now, I want to tell you this. Victor Osimhen has signed a new deal. in 2023. In December 2023, he's signing a new deal that ends in 2026. Doesn't make any sense. 2024, 2025, 2026. The deal, by the time we get to the summer, the deal will be left with 2 years. I just don't understand why Aurelio De Laurentiis would actually give him a 2-year deal if he never wanted to sell. And to make things even crazier, the release clause of Victor Osimhen is 130 million euros, which is significantly lower than the 150 million pounds that De Laurentiis was asking from clubs in the summer. So does it, it really makes a lot of sense here. He's asking for less money because he knows in the summer he will let him go. He will sell Victor Osimhen. There is no question about that. But also listen to this as well. Victor Osimhen has signed a new deal, or is signing a new deal with a release clause. And that release clause will become active in 2024. God damn it. This is like genius business from De Laurentiis. This is genius business from Napoli. What they have done here is they have extended the period of time Osimhen can stay at Napoli. They have also extended his contract to give them much more kind of a much more advantage and leverage in negotiations, because while they're in negotiations in the summer, they'll tell you we are not selling, right? We don't want to sell. Why? He can be here for another 2 years. He can stay until 2026. But we all know when you extend a player's contract by only 2 years, reduce his asking price, and set a release clause that is easily triggerable. I don't know if that's a word, but anyone can trigger that 130 million euro release clause for Osimhen. Any club can. Arsenal, after signing Declan Rice for 105 million pounds, we can trigger that release clause. Bayern can trigger it. I think Barca are not in that financial situation. I'm sorry, but Madrid are. So Madrid can trigger it. And if Kylian Mbappe goes to Madrid, then PSG will trigger the release clause of Victor Osimhen. Manchester United as well, and Chelsea. All these clubs that are interested in Osimhen have the power, the financial muscles, to actually trigger the release clause that has been set by Aurelio De Laurentiis. Good and smart. He has set a price that doesn't chase away investors and buyers, because when you look at that price, you're like, well, we thought we would pay 120 million pounds for Osimhen. It's 113. Well, I might just go and trigger the release clause. It's as simple as that. So he's made it a price that is affordable, and it is actually attracting a lot of interest from Chelsea, from Arsenal, and other clubs are also going to be in the queue very, very soon. So Arsenal have opened talks with Calenda, the agent of Victor Osimhen, and again, that indicates seriousness. Remember, Arsenal were interested in Declan Rice even before January. Arsenal were interested in signing Gabriel Jesus even before January, and both of those players that have become key players for us were signed in the summer, not in January, which shows you that Arsenal are tracking these players, giving themselves ample time, like 6 months, for us to negotiate a deal between us, the player, and the parent club. And by the time we get to the summer, almost a couple of things that are vital and key have been agreed on. That is why we are not missing out on our major targets. We got Jesus, we got Partey, and we got Declan Rice as well, and we got Odegaard. So it means that Arsenal are working on the Osimhen deal early. If he's going to be our player, then we might as well start working on this deal, as early as possible. Now, let's talk about the betrayal that could happen. Ivan Toney is excited about playing for Arsenal, and he's excited about joining us in January. And I think it's a good deal. You get Ivan Toney in January. You make sure that you keep him very well. You take good care of him, and if he scores the goals, then you trigger his you trigger his mandatory buy clause. I think Brentford are not stupid. They will tell Arsenal, you will take him on loan, but at some point in his contract, you'll have to sign him on a permanent. And I don't have a problem with that. I think it's genius. So if Toney does well and we get to the summer, probably scored around 12 or 13 or 15 goals in all competitions for Arsenal, and Arsenal have won some major silverware, I would keep him. He's the player you keep. He's the player that is going to be cheaper. He's the player that knows the Premier League, and I think his build and physicality and football IQ, there is nothing not to love about Ivan Toney, apart from his gambling addiction. Nothing else you don't love about Ivan Toney. So I would want him. I would want him to come in January, right? And he makes the deal easier by going, I want to go there. I want to. There is nothing as easy as signing a player who is interested. Alexander Zinchenko, Declan Rice, all these players were massively locked onto Arsenal. And that meant that Arsenal just had to negotiate a deal with the parent club, and it was done deal. You didn't have to, fight rivals. You didn't have to, face off competition. It was just about, can we agree a deal in terms of the price? The player is already locked and sold onto the move to the club. However, why I think this is also smart, if Victor Osimhen agrees to join Arsenal by January, and Arsenal can, definitely sign him in the summer, it means that we have given ourselves a chance. If Toney doesn't work out and the deal does not bring the kind of yields we thought it would bring, it's easy for us to just activate, to push over the Victor Osimhen deal. So we are securing both ends. Ivan Toney could be kind of priority, but if we do not get Ivan Toney, then definitely you only have a few options, and one of those options is Victor Osimhen. Osimhen is better than many strikers on the market right now, better than Benjamin Sesko, especially in terms of experience, better than the likes of Openda, who are still young, very, very good striker, but still young. He's going to need some time. Osimhen has proven that he can do it on the big stage. And you remember last season, but one, I've always said Osimhen has not proven to us that he can go 20, 30 goals in a campaign. Well, he had a bang, like a massive bang last campaign, scoring for fun in the Champions League as well as in the Italian Serie A for Napoli. So listen, good deal. Go and talk to Osimhen's agent. Keep that deal active. Sign Ivan Toney, and if it doesn't do well, then just trigger on the Victor Osimhen deal. I think it's very good for us. But where I see a problem is here. Imagine this. Victor Osimhen thinks that Ivan Toney is going to be the Arsenal striker. And Ivan Toney's camp say, well, you want to take our player in January, use him for a limited period of time, and then, dump him, right? And then sign Osimhen. It could be disastrous. Because the Ivan Toney camp would feel, we don't have a place at Arsenal. We are just going to be a short-term fix, and then after that, they will kick us out. That will place Arsenal in jeopardy. That will place our deal in jeopardy. So he will choose Liverpool. He will choose Chelsea. He will choose any other team that will be coming, giving him that assurance that you are our number one striker and you are the guy we need. You are the guy we've been waiting for. So that would put the deal in jeopardy. And still, if we signed Toney in January, then that would kind of question the legitimacy of our interest in Victor Osimhen, because the Victor Osimhen camp would ask one question: if you have Toney, Premier League proven, really well built, he's scoring goals for you, are you really going to spend another 100 million on another striker? The answer would be no, unless Arsenal is saying we will get rid of, Jesus, we will get rid of Edin Ketia, and we will get rid of all the strikers we have at the moment. Something that I don't think is going to happen anytime soon or anytime now. So that is where my concerns are. But I've chosen Ivan Toney, and this is the reason why I would choose Ivan Toney over Victor Osimhen. I know you will say I do not know football. You will say I am, not being serious right now. But these are my reasons, and they are not very many. I'll give you three. One, I think Ivan Toney is a bully. and I like a bully in a striker. The positioning of Victor Osimhen is elite, purely elite. I think his positioning is Erling Haaland levels. I'm not saying finishing, I'm saying positioning. Erling Haaland levels. Like, this guy will be everywhere, will be at every point the ball drops in the penalty area. That is Victor Osimhen. But I like a bully in Ivan Toney. I like the bully in Ivan Toney. I like it when we have Odegaard, we have Kai, Saka, and Martinelli. Small, not very strong, but very, very good IQ, football IQ. And then you have a bully up top. You have a guy that will smash a defender and smash the ball into the back of the net. That is number one. Number two, he's done it in the Premier League, and that can never be undermined. Among the metrics that you will never undermine, among the metrics that we will never be able to undermine, is the fact that a player who has done it in the Premier League has the ability to go on and do it wherever he goes. Now, yeah, there's scenarios where things have failed. Thierry Henry, probably. Probably not. Eden Hazard, probably or probably not. Depends on your perspective and angle. But a player and a striker that has scored goals in the Premier League, 20 for such a side like Brentford, give me that striker. Give me that name. And that name is Ivan Toney. So Toney would love to sign for Arsenal. Osimhen would also be closely linked with us today. I would love to see what happens, right? Both of them are on the list. Choose one, and let's see how the comment section is actually going to be voting, because I'm going to be watching.